As the Story Grows, I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Marton Kertesz, guitarist for Hungarian blackened death metal band Rivers Ablaze, to the podcast. Rivers Ablaze released Inexternal Dread last Friday on Inertial Music. Marton talks about getting into metal and the scene in Budapest, how playing jazz guitar influenced his playing and writing, starting Rivers Ablaze and the band's evolution, the rough idea behind Inexternal Dread, and a lot more. I'm a big fan of Inexternal Dread, and I'm stoked to share Marton and Rivers Ablaze with you, the listeners. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of As the Story Grows. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Discord server, and our Patreon page. And if you aren't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed to the podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Enjoy today's conversation with Marton from Rivers Ablaze.
Thank you for having the band in the podcast.
Oh yeah, the album's incredible, and sometimes you hear a new band or a band that doesn't have a lot of attention, and it's like, what's the point in having a platform if you can't share music you like? And it doesn't matter how big or small, right? Like it's good, and I want more people to hear the record. So,
thank you so much, man, for your support.
Did you grow up in Budapest?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, not completely. I was also raised in Brazil.
Okay.
I lived in Brazil for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
From 3 to 13.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, I just told a lie. Actually, I was raised in Brazil. I mean, I went to school there first and stuff, and then I returned to Budapest when I was 13.
Okay.
And since then, I live in Budapest.
Nice. What took you to Brazil? Just education purposes, or?
No, it was my father's job.
Okay.
He was like a technician.
Okay.
He worked as an engineer.
Okay.
More specifically, and he was fixing like instruments, medical instruments used in hospitals and stuff. And then he started his own business, but. I mean, we went there. We moved to Brazil because of his job.
Okay.
So,
what was that transition like, moving back to Budapest? Was it like, a big cultural shock, or had you been back visiting for family, and so it was kind of just normal?
No, our family remains here in Hungary, so we were visiting them almost every year.
Okay.
Sometimes twice. So I kind of knew Budapest really well, when I moved back with my mother.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big shock for me. It was just like you have to make things a bit differently, but all in all, it was a good experience. So not very, I don't know, bad or something.
I guess because of that, did you have to learn to be flexible in languages you spoke? Did you speak Portuguese living in Brazil?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I went to a Brazilian school.
Yeah.
I learned the alphabet there, basically. So I don't even know the Hungarian alphabet right.
Oh, man.
But, of course, when I came back, I had to, catch up a bit on my Hungarian, but it took a couple of years, and then I was like, as if I never moved out, any time before.
That's cool.
But it happens with everyone, I guess, who spends a considerable amount of time, especially in his childhood, in another country. So but that's just something you can learn, throughout the years. Like, the language itself, it's not something that's not possible to learn.
Yeah. What got you into music, and then maybe more specifically, what gets you into like metal and heavy music?
Well, when I was 12, still back in Brazil, I started to play the guitar, inspired by. I think the first album I got, apart from Pet Shop Boys, and something. Albums that were not related to metal. I think the first record was Iron Maiden live at Donington.
Okay.
And then I got the Black Album from Metallica and Inertial from Nirvana. So yeah, I was inspired by them.
Yeah.
And of course, Guns N' Roses was huge, back then. Still is. Yeah. But and also actually there was another guitar player that kind of inspired me. When I was younger, Pat Metheny. He's a jazz guitar player.
Okay, yeah.
So my father was a big fan of his, and we were watching a lot of shows, concerts from him, and I was inspired. I was inspired that much about his music back in the day. Later I got,
yeah.
But I was inspired just by his effortless guitar playing, the way he played these long solos, and I didn't understand anything about jazz at the time. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand it, quite well. Even though I went to college, I studied jazz improvisation and composition in at university. But these were the main influences, back in the day.
Yeah.
I started to play the guitar, and then back in Hungary, I was getting into more heavier stuff. People like friends of mine, they showed me death metal, black metal, and stuff around around 14, when I was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. And it just evolved like that, quite naturally. Then I went back to jazz, or I started to study jazz, analyze chord progressions and how to solo over this chordal structures and stuff. But I just never let go metal music, like.
Yeah. Nice.
It was always like these two genres were always present in my life, like almost full time. Metal and jazz. Yeah.
Yeah. I assume all that background in jazz training informs how you play guitar and compose songs now, and it's like it gives you a unique, probably, ear to writing metal songs, right?
Well, I like to think that. I like to believe that it's true. The way I approach composition and songwriting is of course really influenced by jazz. Jazz chords and jazzy chord progressions, so to say. One thing that I learned, maybe, if I can say that, from jazz, was that it's always good to keep the listener engaged. You always try to achieve things that are unexpected. It can be a melody, it can go, in a way that one wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
It can be the chords. So, maybe I'm not always successful with that, but main goal is to write songs that have this plus factor, or this kind of unexpected turns, twist, plot twists.
Yeah. You mentioned you had a lot of friends who kind of got you into death metal and black metal. What was the general like music scene like in Budapest? And like, were there a lot of people like playing instruments and forming bands when you were a teenager?
Yeah, yes, I could say that there was it was a strong community in Budapest, but I have to say that I wasn't a part of it in a way. I mean, like it was around 99 and 2000 when I got into a band and we played new metal. Like, you know, at the time, you know, these bands were huge, like Limp Bizkit and Korn, System of a Down and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, Slipknot. And, you know, I mean, we tried to emulate something like that. But I mean, it was a nice try, I guess, from our side. We had fun, you know, doing this band. It was called Flatline. Actually, I think you just can't find anything about. Maybe you have one music video still on the internet, but I mean, it was a short-lived stuff. Yeah. Even though because I was fired from the band. Like in the beginning, but that was the time that I turned to jazz in a way. I was more interested in jazz at the time, so I wasn't. I mean, when I started this band, and a couple of years later, we weren't like a part of this community. There were lots of bands that, you know, we went to concerts and stuff, but we were not, you know, a big name in the community. And then I just, I mean, there was a couple of years that I wasn't really active in this metal scene. So, you know, I just got accepted at the university to learn jazz. I was really into jazz at the time, around 2003, 2004. And I had some jazz bands and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing because now I have another band. I mean, I'm in another band called Sear Bliss. Yeah, they are. I don't know if you know them. Yeah, they are a legendary black metal band from Hungary, from Szombathely, and you know, they have toured with Marduk, and they played many festivals abroad and stuff. But and now that I'm a member of Sear Bliss since 2022. I'm more into the scene, and I got to know people that, I mean, I knew them, you know, from being on stage. I mean, they were on stage. I was watching their shows and stuff. I just didn't hang with them at the time. And now I was like, hey man, I know you from that time, but we never got to talk, you know, in person or stuff. And it's cool that we can do it now, like, you know, almost 30 years later. But just all in all, I can say that there was a strong community, a strong metal scene in Budapest at the time.
Let's talk about Rivers Ablaze. How'd this band get started?
I mean, when I was at university, I was invited to a jazz fusion band. It was a mixture of jazz and fusion and metal, Special Providence. And I was with this band for 13 years. and we recorded 5 full-length albums, and we toured a lot. We played in Japan, the US. We played in South America. We had tours in Europe. We even had a tour with Spock's Beard, and one tour with Haken as support act. And after that, I left the band in 2018, and I had a lot of ideas. I wanted to do. This band was instrumental, and I wanted to play a kind of music that is more, riff oriented, and has a vocalist. So and of course the riffs are heavier, in a way. Like I wanted to do something because I started to listen to black metal, death metal, and extreme metal in general, like quite early, and I wanted to do something that resembles my musical taste, or reflects my musical taste.
Yeah.
And I started the band alone. It was a solo project. I was after leaving the band, after leaving Special Providence, I had time to compose. I had time to put ideas together and stuff, to experiment with new ideas. I wanted to do something quite different from because I was, of course, one of the main composers of Special Providence as well. Like I would say, we were like they were in charge of composing songs. Always me and the actual piano synthesizer player. So I was heavily involved in songwriting and composing, and after that I wanted to, but of course I had it was I really love this band. We remained friends after I quit and stuff. But I wanted to do something different, something heavier. So I was like, okay, and now I am my own boss. I don't have to, because I have to say that. But sometimes I had some ideas for Special Providence, and they wouldn't be accepted, because they were maybe too. And sometimes I would say that, okay, no, it's too heavy for this band. We don't play riffs like that. It's too, it's just too black metalish or that metalish. So okay, let's leave out these riffs and stuff. But now I had just complete freedom to write everything I could. So I started to experiment, with these ideas of mine, and I just put together the first album, and I have a friend, Peter Csobanci. He's a sound engineer. And do you know the band? I guess you know the band Die Catafalque.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the sound engineer for them, and he has been the sound engineer for many bands in the past, and he's an excellent live sound guy, and also in the studio. And he was the one who kind of convinced me to put together this album, the first album I'm talking about. And I didn't know with whom make the vocals, and I didn't want to sing. I didn't have the lyrics. I just had the music. I had the music written, I had the drums written, and the synthesizers and stuff. But I needed a vocalist, and also this friend of mine, Peter, he was in charge of mixing and mastering of the album, and then he recommended the vocalist and bass player of Searbliss, András Nagy.
Nice.
So our friendship dates back to this moment, and the incredible thing, because I mean, actually, I was a fan of Serblis, back in 1998, 1997, with their demo, Pagan Winter, and the first full-length album, Phantoms. I was listening to this album, with albums like Enter to the Blackened Dusk from Emperor, or I don't know, Enter from Darkness Triumphant from Dimmu Borgir. Yeah. So I mean, Serblis was a huge influence on me and my musical taste. And 25 years later, I get to make an album with the vocalist of Serblis, and it was it was a quite good experience.
Yeah.
and I mean, the most incredible thing was that he was very cool about the whole stuff. I didn't know if he would accept this, like to sing an entire album. But I sent him the material, and after a couple of weeks, he said, "Okay, man, I like the music, so I'm in. We can do it." I was like, "Man, it's amazing. Thank you so much."
Nice.
And after that, after the first album, like while the first album was being mixed and mastered and stuff, I started to write even more songs. I was like, okay, let's experiment more. And I was really hungry for more material like that. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote the second album, the third album, and I have another friend. He's the bass player of Rivers Ablaze, Pa Poonhauser. And actually, it's another funny story for me at least, that he was I can say that maybe he was a fan of my band, my jazz fusion band, Special Providence, and I talked to him sometimes after the shows, and when I showed him this new project of mine, maybe it was the second album, I don't know, I have to ask him, but around the second album, maybe between two albums, the first and the second, maybe the second was in the corner, just ready to be published, released, and he was like, "Don't you want to put that on stage?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. It's like who would like to learn these songs for one concert? They are not very difficult songs, but you have to practice a bit. You have to, because it's not about the technical aspects of the songs. They are not very difficult, technically. They are just, you have to deal with the songs because they are long and they have many parts. Every song is above 5, 6, 7 minutes. Now we have songs that's even are above 10 minutes and stuff, and every song has at least like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 riffs and parts. So it's not super difficult, but you have to deal with the songs. You have to learn the songs by heart. You have to practice them. There is no room for improvisation, mm-hmm. and guessing on stage.
Yeah.
Tone guessing on stage, and he was like, I don't know, but I would love to play. I would love to be the bass player for the band, even for one concert. I was like, okay, then we already have the band, so we just need 2 more guys, and then actually, the funny thing is that our first concert was like short before the release of our third album, like in the period of 3 months. We had 3 album release parties Like
that's Black Hole era.
Yeah, yes. I mean, that was the third album. It was a second concert, and our first concert, was like three months before, prior to the release of Black Hole Era, and we just presented two albums on the first show, and just a little piece of information that on the first album there is also a guest chorus part from Oskar Knopp. He's also a big name in the Hungarian metal scene. Many bands, are Insane, and now he plays he sings in Frogda. It's a very good new band from our other guitar player Marton Kertesz, and the thing is that he sang on the first album. It was only a chorus, and then I asked him to be because the second album was instrumental. András was not available at the moment, so I decided to release it instrumentally. Okay. The third album was with Oskar, so we just decided to start to work together, and of course we found. I have to mention, of course, I didn't want to leave him out. Tadeusz Rikmon, he's the drum player for Tyr, the Faroese band. Yeah. Then he's all. I mean, and like we just became a band after the first show, so to say. Like, I mean, on the first show, Tadeusz played, and Pál was there as well. Ossi didn't perform. He was in the audience because it was only the first two albums. But then 2 or 3 months later, we had our first concert with the stable lineup. Yeah. I mean, with Oskar on vocals, Tadeusz on drums, Pál on bass, and Marton Kertesz on the second guitar.
This new album's called Inexternal Dread. Listening back to Blood Canvas and listening through the discography, there's been this trajectory from more progressive technical death metal into the black metal that is the new record. What was it that kind of led you to this sound? And
I don't know. I wouldn't say that we are black metal. Because, if you think of black metal, I mean, I know that there are lots of genres and subgenres within black metal and stuff, but I would say that we operate with many genres. Yeah. And of course, many bands within the black metal genre operate with many, things from other genres. But I don't know. To be honest, I wouldn't say that there was a very big shift from Blood Canvas and this new album. I mean, every album is a bit different in a way. Yep. Like our third album, Black Hole Era, it was more groovy. It was the first time. I know it's not true. Like the first album also contains like clean vocals. So I wouldn't even say that. I mean, it's always like what is inspiring me, more at the time when I'm writing the songs, And this time around, I mean, with our latest album. I I would say that, I mean, every song has a bit of death metal, a bit of black metal, and a bit of progressive stuff as well. And but you know, there's nothing happening really like planned beforehand. You know, there's nothing. There's no such thing as like okay, this time I want to do something more black metal like or stuff. It's just about, you know, I'm starting to write a riff. I start to write a riff, and then, you know, I'm jamming this riff, and then another riff just pops up, you know, in my mind, and I try to connect these two riffs. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it, and then, you know, after you know, toying with these riffs, I find a handful of riffs that are, you know, put together.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about one riff being black metal and the other riff being death metal. It's just about, you know, the way I feel about these riffs, and of course the other guys they also have, you know, an opinion about. I mean, we usually put the songs together, like, you know, everybody, you know, has a say, like, hey, let's change that riff. It sucks. I don't know. So, you know, it's like usually I deliver the riffs, and then we put the riffs. I mean, of course, I have like you know, I have in my mind I have a connection of the riffs, but sometimes, you know, we just move the riffs around. We try, you know, a different combination of the riffs, and sometimes they have like you know, sometimes they are right about changing the order of the riffs.
Yeah. What was the inspiration for the album title?
The album title, well, basically, the song, the lyrics are written by Oscar, the vocalist. So if you examine the lyrics, these lyrics are kind of personal in a way. I mean, these are inner processes, like processes like grief, isolation, you know, helplessness, and every song examines one of these internal processes from another angle, you know, and analyzes a different process as well. So to be quite frank, like the best person to talk about the lyrics is Oscar, but
Sure.
I mean, as far as I have read the lyrics, which I have, of course. I mean, these are really, you know, this kind of inner processes that are things that shouldn't be kept in silence, you know. And I think that was the main motivation for Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't say that every lyric is about Oscar. I would not even say that. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I mean, it's like, of course, you can kind of say that you can. You know, these are more how do you say that, general things, you know. These are not specific stories.
Gotcha.
Apart from the first and the last, that contain a metaphor about the first animal death in space and the first human death in space, and but basically these are general things. Like I mean, you don't have to think that these things are all about Oscar. These are general things. It can happen to anyone, and these things of unfortunately or I don't know. Fortunately, they happen to every person, you know.
Yeah.
So the way we have to deal with fear, with sadness, you know, solitude, and the fights that we have to fight against, you know, depression and things like that. You know, the courage it takes to, you know, to just look in the eye of these problems, and you know, to have the strength, even when you are, you know, very low in your life, you know, to have the strength to wake up every morning and just keep on going and keep doing your thing, like taking care of your family, going back to work and stuff. So I don't want to say too much about the lyrics. I mean, the best is when, you know, a listener just listens to the lyrics, and maybe, you know, just find the lyrics online, or, you know, and you just immerse yourself in your own thoughts. I mean, the way you perceive these general processes, internal processes that, you know, that people deal with. So basically, you know, this is maybe it's a very personal album. I mean, the lyrics are very personal for Oscar, maybe, but it can be, you know, just it also can be, you know, treated as like a general things, and general way to look or perceive these kind of things.
The album's out in 2 weeks. What's the plan after the album's released? Do you guys hope to tour, play some shows?
Yes, we're gonna have an album release gig in Budapest, April 11, and it's gonna be at Bar Hall. It's a place downtown. It's a very, very cool place, and yes, we are planning to play almost the whole album, and of course some other tunes from our catalog, from our back catalog, and actually we don't have yet a solid plan for touring. We have some plans, you know.
Yeah.
We have some ideas. It would be in autumn.
Okay.
So because I mean, we are you know, discussing some plans about you know, going abroad. We had a tour almost 2 years ago with Sear Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
We played 10 shows in Europe. Like we went to Italy, we played Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Belgium, Netherlands, Austria, Slovenia as well. So it was quite cool. People seem to enjoy it. I mean, they wanted to talk, after the show, and many people, just bought merch, and it was a quite rewarding experience. It was our first time ever abroad with Rivers Ablaze.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we hope to do something similar to this year, because of course I would love to play these songs, like abroad, and I would like to to reach a broader audience, like outside Hungary as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have this thing, like, when an album is out, it's a very, very good thing to just play the new songs.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I also like to play the old songs, but when the album is fresh, like, it just came out, I mean, fresh can mean even like a couple of months, because some bands release albums in like after 10 years or 12 years. So
Yeah.
you release an album, and it's only, I don't know, 4 months old. I think it's still fresh,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and so and it's a very rewarding thing to be able to to go on stage and play these new tunes. I mean, for you they are not that new, because it's a long process to
Yeah.
from the first riff you wrote, and then you have to record it, mix it, mastering, then the label works and stuff. First single, second single, so like this album, Inexternal Dread, like the first riff I wrote was more than 2 years ago, so
Yeah.
but
Good here.
so still after the release, it just gets fresh again, in a way, It's like, and so I'm really into promoting the stuff live. Like I think this is the best promotion for a band to play gigs. Like you can do content that's also good. I have nothing against content, but and of course, like things like podcast interviews, they're also amazing. I mean, and thank you once again for inviting us, for having us in your podcast. But I think nothing can beat touring and playing gigs. So this is when a person who is not really into your music, who was not convinced by your new music video, was not convinced by your numbers on Spotify and stuff. When he gets to see you live, he gets a total different experience.
Yep.
So in this aspect, I'm kind of old school. Like for me, the best promotion is playing live.